Hi, this is Art Ostazuski with the Eagle UAS drone program, and this how-to video is how to get latitude, longitude, and altitude from a batch of drone photos into an Excel table. And basically, the steps we're going to take is using GeoSetter. Make sure you get your images into GeoSetter. Make sure you check the settings. Open GeoSetter, the KMZ in Google Earth, save from Google Earth as a KML, then open that KML in Excel, clean it up a little bit, then in Excel use the data text to columns function, and then clean that up and save it to XLS. So it's pretty easy. I'm going to show you here right now. So I have 803 images of a meter reading over a site, and I want to get these into Excel table. I want to get the latitude, longitude, and altitude from the EXIF data. And how do I do this? Take your pictures, bring them into GeoSetter, by going into the meter readings. Now at this point, see, I'll show you, I'm using GeoSetter 3.4.16, but I think they all work. This is one of the older versions, but it works on my computer like this. You'll want to go into File and Settings, and under Miscellaneous, you'll want to choose whether you want your altitude in feet or in meters. You'll also want to how you want your coordinates displayed. I like decimal degrees, so I'm going to make sure those are set in the Miscellaneous tab of Settings in GeoSetter. So we're good there. So I'm going to select, I'm going to go down here and select a bunch. Say, okay, 435 to 445. Okay, so we're going to select those, but you could select all of them. Then you go to Images, Export to Google Earth. I like these settings as far as thumbnail size of 600, thumbnail quality of 100, and in my info fields, I want to make sure coordinate, the date. There's other things you may be able to get out of the EXIF. I want to make sure your altitude is there, and I like the mini icon feature versus just a plain icon. So a mini image will be 100, and then if you click on that image, it'll be a 600, and I'll show you that here shortly. So you want to export to Google Earth, and you click OK. And it's going to ask you, where do you want to put this GeoSetter file? And I'm going to put it here on my C drive. I have a place for these. Let's get here. C drive, temp, XLS, and image to XLS. And we're going to call this GeoSetter. I'll just use the first one, 435. And I'm going to just make sure that it's the KMZ file. That's what I'm going to call it. You can call it anything. Save. And you'll see down here, it's exporting to Google Earth, which is fine. Those 11 images. So GeoSetter is exporting, which is great. Do you want to open it? And you'll want to say yes. You'll want to open it. I got some other files open. So there, it'll take me to these files. And so this was part of a run that I was doing here. You'll go to your GeoSetter. This is your KMZ. And I like just putting it, make sure it's in my places so it doesn't get destroyed. Now, I mentioned the settings of 10 and 600. So this is the one, or 10 and 100 in GeoSetter. This is the 100 thumbnail that you can see. If I click on one of these, this is the 600. And here's my date taken and coordinates and my altitude in my settings. And I can see my meter. So that's the settings I like to use. From here, to get this into Excel, you need to save it as a KML. So you can save places as, You have to change this to a KML. And I'm going to change that file name to L. There's saving as a KML. Save. I'm going to check to make sure, when I save it to KML, it saves these icons and these other JPEG files. These are the thumbnails, the 100 and the 600. So you can see, so that's the 100 and the 600. You don't need those. It's not part of what you need for Excel. So I'm just going to delete those. I already have them in Google Earth. So you take your KML file. You gotta make sure you have that. Then let's open up an instance of Excel. And we'll go open. And let's find this KML file. Open up all files. And I named it KML. So I want to make sure I got the KML file. And you open it. It'll ask you, do you trust the source? You can say yes. You want to open it as a XML table. You'll just take the default schema. You really don't have a choice. And so there's your data. The first column here you don't need, so you can delete that column. You don't need this column either. You can delete that. You don't want to keep the name. You don't need the max line column. You don't need the description column. And so you don't need this reference column. So there you go. You have your names, the 11 that I picked, and you got your coordinates with the longitude, latitude, and height in feet. So I'm just going to go right here and call these images. And from here, in this column, you want to break these up. So you want to go into data, text to column, and this is delimited. And you can go next. It's comma delimited. That's what it's going to look like when you break it up. And that's cool. So you can go finish. And there's your that's your longitude. There's your latitude. There's your altitude. I like to put these in a different order. So I'm going to take this and do a copy, paste value, and call that my long. That. And so there you go. You have your images, your latitude, longitude, altitude, and then now here I can put the result from that picture, from the meter result. When it changes, I can put them in here. So you can do File, Save As, and we'll go into, we're going to give it a standard. Put that back in our, and call this 435. Let's go back in our files. And there we see we have our KMZ, our KML, and our Excel sheet. And that's how you do it.